Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for update 85 of Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. We're going to start off as always with a quick sound check. Make sure your speakers aren't up too high. Wonderful. So what have we got for you this week? Well, we are finally done with the update 85 alpha cycle. I know it has been a long and patience-trying one for some of you, but I'm finally happy with the take and hold changes and the changes to our core locomotion systems. And so to celebrate, I promised that I was going to be adding this week something pretty stupid. And I was not kidding. I, in fact, have added what is now, I think technically, pound for pound, muzzle energy per capacity, the worst gun in the game. That's right, a classic Model 95 Derringer in 41 short. It is a teeny one. You can see it here right next to a magazine here for our VP9. Truly a vest pocket pistol. We click left on the touchpad or joystick to load it up. This is 41 short. Now I have made the pose on this as good as I could possibly get it for sneaking cartridges in here, regardless of controller geometry, but for some controllers it might be futzy. You may need to drop the gun into your pocket and then load it that way and then pull it back out of your pocket based upon which controller you have. Let's close that, pull our hammer back. I don't even know why we're bothering to aim. Oh, it is not accurate. That is the other thing that you need to know about this. With this short a barrel, it's not so good. Let's aim a little down this time. Oh, there we go. Not bad. That one would have been in the 10 ring. Pop that back out. Load this sucker again. Wow. Flick it shut. So let's see, that worked for. We need to aim lower. Oh yeah, there we go. Now, in terms of actual muzzle energy home, this is only slightly more powerful than the Volcanic, but it only holds 2 shots. And that's why, in my opinion, even though the Volcanic per shot is worse, that holds like 8 or 10 shots or whatever, whereas this only holds 2. So, truly a weapon of desperation. I love that little sucker. Beautiful. Let's put you back in the pocket. And then, for a more modern rendition of the Derringer concept, which obviously is either as a concealed weapon or as an emergency backup weapon, we have the classic Cop 357. Those of you who have played TF2 probably are like, hey, that looks kind of like the shortstop. And the shortstop was inspired by this. This is in 357 Magnum, which is a good deal peppier. This sucker in real life is actually pretty heavy. It's like 1.7 pounds unloaded. Has an incredibly long trigger pull in real life, apparently. But obviously just has such an iconic look. Let's fire this. This one's got some pep on it. Woo! There we go. Wonderful. I would hope I'd be able to get it that close with our target a whole 4 meters away. Let's pop it out. Let's pop it out to 10. Let's see if we can keep this up. Pretty good. Not bad. Not bad. Fun little number. Fires nice and fast. Obviously, the Model 95 will show up in a cow wiener calico in Take and Hold, and because this is early 80s era, this will, I believe, show up in Soldier of Fortune Frankie's pistol pool sometimes, I think, possibly. And obviously in random weapon cases that are small, this could show up. Let's try to fire it fast. This thing has so much kick, I think we're just going to shoot the ceiling. Okay. Let's pull the trigger as fast as we can and see what the group is. 1, 2, 3 ceiling. Perfect. Working as intended. So there you go. I hope you enjoy these. And to those of you who have not been on the alpha branch, obviously make sure to check the full changelog with this update to see all of the toys that have been added over the course of the alpha, a good percentage of which are turn of the century. Anywho, let's jump out of VR to talk about the other changes that are in this final push from alpha over to main. Yo! Good to see y'all. As you can see, I no longer quite sound like I'm dying, which is always a good thing. Still a bit of a cough, but on the mend finally. In terms of other stuff that is sort of important and in this specific update, i.e. stuff that's just changed this past week from the last alpha, the big things are that I did a little bit of final tweaking to what's called sort of ground handling for the character controller. Folks noticed that if you sort of went off of a straight edge slow enough, you would start moving basically parallel to the wall. It was basically my like slope sliding system wasn't handling that edge case perfectly. So that should now be fixed. The last sort of collision glitches involving the smooth locomotions, like snap turning your way out of the level, should be fixed. There's still a few really, really strange corner cases involving like jamming your head under a top surface at a stair where you would not actually be able to fit, that weird things can happen in, but you have to get into those situations so intentionally that I'm just it's close enough as far as I'm concerned. Cool. Other take and hold stuff. Scoring is back. I have reset all of the score tables, and part of that is due to the fact that we have new options. The challenges have all changed, etc. So you have a whole new fresh set of boards to fill in. You should note that for only a certain subset of settings will be globally scored. It's basically 8 tables per character per level. If you set a custom health multiplier, i.e. aren't playing on standard or one hit, you'll still have a local scoreboard, but you won't have a global one. So similar to how if you have the item spawner engaged, it disables scoring. And part of the reason that I did this is that I don't want there to be thousands and thousands of scoreboards with only a couple scores on them. I would like people sort of focused better for that. And because of the fact that when I add another take and hold level, that'll be a whole extra set of scoreboards for every character and every permutation of setting. Plus, I still want to be adding over the rest of the year a bunch of new take and hold characters. I've got a couple goofy ones in mind. So you should still expect over the course of the rest of the year another 4 or 6 themed take and hold characters to arrive. It's something that I'll sort of develop in parallel. I've been workshopping some ideas for a while that I'm excited about. Along with that, whatever your sort of saved take and hold settings were, I have reset them. I created just a new fresh settings file just so that like leftover data, if I like changed an enum parameter since the creation of this mode and someone jumps into the game for the first time in a year, I just wanted to make sure that nothing was going to be corrupted and failed to load correctly. And so I just wiped those. So if you had like a character preset set, it's just been returned to the default. I also made it so that under Wieners Through Time, it's now chronologically ordered, which also happens to be sort of an order of difficulty. So Operator Ori's at the top, because that's kind of the easiest one, because you get access to such powerful weaponry, and then it goes back in time slowly, so Cow Wiener Calico is at the bottom. So yeah. So that is all in, and then a bunch of other just little minor fixes related to locomotion, some messed up textures. You can read the whole changelog if you're interested. It is I'm not even sure this will even fit in the character limit of a text post, because I've basically condensed everything that's relevant for the entire update 85 alpha cycle into one changelog. And I definitely, if you're not normally the sort to read them, I definitely recommend you at least peruse the Take and Hold changes one if you haven't played Take and Hold in a while, just to see all the things that have changed in this. Overall, I'm so happy with where the mode has landed. If you haven't been playing Take and Hold during the update 85 cycle, do know that it has gotten harder in certain ways. I would describe the big differences before and after is before it was much more purely about sort of ammo management in a way when it was challenging. And in terms of dying, you tended to sort of slowly get pecked to death and didn't have many opportunities to heal. And it would be frustrating oftentimes that you would die being like, it's been 2 holds and I didn't have an opportunity to get any more health. That felt stupid. Whereas now there are more opportunities to get healing, but your total health on default is lower. So it's more about using cover really effectively, taking favorable engagements instead of just standing in the open or like in the open trying to strafe back and forth like it's Quake. That is a less effective strategy than really using full height cover well, peeking efficiently, etc. So, and remember, if it ends up being a bit too hard for you, you can always click custom for health and crank your health up really high to practice, or set the AI difficulty down to arcade, which makes their bullets move slower and makes them take a ton more damage. So hopefully now the mode represents really well the range of how people want to play Take and Hold, from like, I've got tons of health, I'm an action hero, I'm just running around with 2 machine pistols, all the way up to what is a really competitive mode. And then lastly, I have added in this week the proper metadata for the marathon mode. So for those of you who've been playing in marathon instead of 5 hold, the way the difficulty curve is going to work is it will come like hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then past 5, there's sort of a bracket bank of different configurations that are chosen randomly that spike down difficulty wise to roughly the second to last hold and spike up much higher in different ways. So there's like one hold style that's very target oriented, that is difficult to even shoot all of the targets in time but don't have many attackers coming at you, to the exact opposite where it's pretty light on targets but you just get absolutely rushed by tons of weak enemies and things like that. So I'm really, those of you who play this mode on Marathon, I'm super curious this week to see what your feedback is and if you're going to be cursing my name. So, well, that just about does it. Failing any sort of hot fix that I need to do because I've like messed something up for this, after this update, I'm going to be taking a break for a week, so you should not expect a devlog or an update next week. I'm going to like not stare at a screen and enjoy being healthy enough to like go outdoors and maybe sit at a coffee shop and read a book or something like that. So that is the plan, and then when I'm back from my break, you'll see I've got some really fun things in store for you folks for March. I think you're going to be quite pleased. But until then, taking a bit of a rest. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend playing around with this, and of course, let me know, as always, in the bug report section what I messed up. I'm sure there's something, but have a wonderful time with it. Peace.